So I think you're going to see my screen. Hi, Juan. I hope you're well. Okay, so let's get to it. And again, apology for being late. So I already introduced myself, so I'm not going to talk about me anymore. I talked also about our agenda, so that's perfect. So first, let's get back to the context and some numbers. Well, we all kind of lived through COVID for 2 years. So the last, I'm going to say, full in-person version of the CES was back in 2020. At that time, so yeah, definitely must attend event of the year, huge, with more than 4,000 exhibitors, more than 170,000 attendees, more than 6,000 media. I hope you understand the hugeness of it. So of course, international media coming from the US, of course, but Europe, Japan, the Middle East, even Australia. So it's really where they all gather and get the trends, the tech trends for the years to come. And the CES communicated at that time on getting more than 200,000 articles about the event, and of course exhibitors at the event. So 2021 was a full online version, so mostly conferences, online meetings. Some media did attend, but mostly for the conferences. So it completely changed the game. And 2022 was back to a hybrid event, and that's how we can see that. I don't know why. Okay, can you still see my screen? It appears weirdly on my side. Okay, I'm gonna hope that yes. So you can notice that definitely in terms of attendance, it was lower than, thank you, Juan. It was lower than 2 years ago, with like half less exhibitors, 3 times less attendees. A lot less media, even though still getting 1,800 media, international media is pretty huge for a week event. And they did not communicate this time on how many articles they got. So we definitely see a shift between CES pre-COVID and CES post-COVID. And our analysis, based especially on last year, is that CES was becoming less of a show. It's Las Vegas, so less sparkle, but more quality, because the people getting there, well, they really had something to do there. So again, business or covering the event, but they were there for a reason. And we felt that it brought more quality, especially when it comes to business. When it comes also to the exhibitors, the selection was a bit more qualitative. So we are really eager to see how this 2023 event is going to happen. Our feeling is that it's not going to go back to what it was before 2020. It's still going to be probably bigger than 2022 because, well, we know how it's going, and countries are really doing a lot against the virus. So it's probably going to be bigger than last year, but still less big than before. So we're really hoping still for quality. That said, it's important to take it into account, because if you've done CES in the past, I really think that CES now is different, and that you have to approach it also a little bit differently. But there is still something that needs to be done, is to anticipate. Without that, you're going to be lost in terms of business, in terms of PR, in terms of communication. You decide to go, well, you have to give time beforehand to be ready. First thing first, but very, very, very important. Be ready for your own security. And when I talk about security, I mean data security. Like at most trade shows, well, CES lives and sees industrial espionage. It's a reality. even there, sometimes even more there, because you have a lot of companies presenting prototypes, presenting not yet patented ideas and stuff like that. So please really be aware that sometimes in less than 40 seconds, all of your hard drive, all of your computer data can be copied with a simple Wi-Fi connection. So here are a few tips that can help you maybe. But make sure that all your materials, so computers, tablets, even USB keys on your booth contain only public presentations, nothing that needs to be hidden. So please, no patents, no designs, no private code, nothing on there. You keep them at the hotel if you want on other computers, but on your booth, it's only public presentations and data and so on. Make sure also that you strengthen your access codes, so to your mailbox, but also to all your sharing platforms like Dropbox, Teams, Google Drive, or whatever you use. But make sure that you change it right before, you change it again right after, but that you're being extra careful. Also, you know that when you have a booth at CES, you can have a private Wi-Fi access for your booth. Please take it. It's definitely an extra budget, but take it, because, well, first, the public network at the event is honestly not working well. I've experienced it a lot of times, so it's really not working well, the Wi-Fi, but also the 3G, the 4G, the 5G, I don't know. I haven't tried the 5G, but it's not working. The connection is really bad. So for that, take your own, even your own, I don't know how to call that in English, but your own 4G access, but even more for security also. That way you can make sure that nobody is stealing your connection and is stealing your data. That being said, how can I get ready besides security? And again, to make sure that I'm on top of feasibility and business, and that I make the most of my event. So if you have a booth, well, do everything you can to stand out. Of course, stay true and close to your company's DNA, to all your graphic design and everything. But make sure that you stand out. Again, remember the numbers. Even 2,300 exhibitors is a lot. It doesn't matter if you're on North Hall, South Hall, Eureka Park, there are booths everywhere. So, and it's sometimes really hard to figure it out. So make sure you're visible and memorable from far away. So it can be through bright colors. It can be through a pop-up setting. Here, I showed an example of a booth we made at Oxygen for one of our clients, but make sure that you have that halo or balloons or something that can be seen from far away, that you have also your own design that is very recognizable from people who know you or people who don't know you, but they're going to remember you. Also, make sure that your team, I know it sounds basics, but it's still important to to say it again. But make sure your team is adjusted also with the colors of the booth of the company. So make sure you have all the branded clothes that you need, that you have goodies, that you have animations. I wouldn't recommend too much noise animation, like not too much music, because the event is already super loud. So first, it might not be like just memorable, or it might just annoy your neighbors and the entire hall. So make sure that you act more on the colorful way. I'm sorry, I'm drinking some water. I've been talking too much. And some tips also to help you make your booth great and help you. First thing first, if you're coming from outside the US, it's not necessary to bring your screens or your outlets or any tech material, well, besides your prototypes and your own product. It's a great thing about America is that you can buy the material on site, and if you don't break it, you can return it until 30 days. So you can return it after the trade show again, unless you've broken it. And At that point, this is not my problem anymore. No, but that's a great tip because it can avoid a lot of to spend a lot of money on planes to just transport everything. But broken screens during the transportation and everything. So keep that in mind. About the cover, we talked about it. Make sure also that you print your flyers, press kits, anything that you need on site for exactly the same reasons. You can't really return it, but there are a lot of great printers in Las Vegas that are not necessarily expensive, and at least everything is there. You can react pretty fast if there's an issue. And again, you don't spend tons and tons of money or, super heavy suitcases because of all your communication material. And last but not least, bring your team. Sometimes the booths are small, but that's not a reason I would say to be only one person. If you've never been, CES is a huge event. There's a lot of traffic. There are a lot of people stopping at booth. Sometimes they're just curious. Again, journalists, maybe potential investors, clients, potential clients. Make sure that you're at least 3 or 4 people, because otherwise you won't be able to meet with everybody. And if you don't, it means that maybe you're missing some opportunities, because if you're already talking to just a curious person and there's an investor waiting for 5 minutes, but you didn't notice it was an investor and he doesn't want to wait anymore, he's just leaving. When you are a team, 3, 4 people, at least there's always someone to talk to, a newcomer to the booth, a new visitor. So again, that's very, very important. And you know how it works at events. The more people you have in front of the booth, the more people are coming. It's kind of a common thing at trade shows. Visitors attract visitors. Besides the booth, well, there's a lot of other communication that can be done, and especially in public and media relations. So if one of your goals, so that's something that, I didn't mention before, but also when you go to CES, make sure that you define your goals with the event, and that you define them well, meaning that, okay, I'm going to CES, my only objective is to find investors, or my objective is to find partners, maybe tech partners or distributors, or my goal is, well, I want to do business, so I want to find clients, but I also want to be visible, and I want media to talk about me and to talk about my products. Can be several goals. You don't have to have only one. But it's very important to define them before, because then I was talking about preparation. You can adapt your preparation, meaning that if media are of not interest to you because you're just working on your prototype, and first you want to find that first investor or that first distributor, don't talk about your company right now. So don't spend time on what I'm going to say in the next 10 minutes. But a lot of companies are going to see yes, also for the media opportunity and the visibility opportunity worldwide that it means, because again, there are media from all over the world. So that's really, really interesting. So I'm going to state that one of your goals is to get media to talk about your company or your products. What do I need to prepare? First, work on your story and key messages. That is something that is pretty French, pretty European, to really define a product on the technologies and features. But journalists, they want more than that. Like, they understand, of course, they want you to talk about the tech and the features, but they want to understand more. Like, what was the idea behind it? Like, if you are the founder, how did the idea come? What problem did you identify? How did you work on it? How did you meet your co-founder? Or maybe how did you get your first investor? Okay, and that's how you got to your first prototype, and then the product. And where are you now? So forget about I created my company in a garage. I'm not saying it's not true, but that's a story that's kind of been seen now for years. But just don't lie, but work on your story to make it a little bit more than just tech and features. Also, anticipate which media you want to talk to, and prepare adapted pitches. For example, if you're a German company, maybe your goal is you're not interested in the international visibility, but you're interested in talking to your German fellow journalists at CES. So you prepare everything for them and you contact them only. Maybe you are looking to expand in the US and you're looking for distributors, and then visibility can help you. So same, identify which media you want to talk to, prepare everything. It takes time. That's why it's a job. No, but it takes time, but it's very important, because that way you're going to have everything ready. And when I'm talking about pitches, the last line is about it as well. Make sure you have, like for your investors, you have several pitches, like the 30-second pitch, the 1-minute pitch, and then the 5-10 minutes pitch. Very important, because some journalists in 30 seconds, if it was not interesting, they're going to leave. Some others, they're, oh, okay, it catches, sorry, my interest, I'm going to listen to you more. So prepare really your pitch the same way that you do for investors, but with a story that is specific for journalists. You're not going to talk about money and your valuation and what you're looking for with an investor, of course. So adapt at that point. In the same way, prepare your PR material. I'm talking about a press release. I'm talking about a press kit. I'm talking about visuals, pictures. Know that pretty much every journalist coming to your booth, they're going to take their own pictures. But they're also going to ask you to send visuals of your product. So make sure you have HD visuals, pretty visuals that really highlight the product. And make sure that everything is very consistent. PR, but also global communication, meaning if you announce something on your press release, make sure that it's also on your website, on your social media. If you have a special wording on your booth, make sure that you're using pretty much the same wording, same on your website, on your social media, everywhere. It has to be very consistent. If you're not native English-speaking company, ask someone you know who speaks, who's bilingual or native, to proofread everything also, because sometimes there are some mistakes that can just like be unacceptable, I would say, for visitors and for journalists. A very important point also is, and please look into this in advance, subscribe to events. So that's the particularity of CES. They have one event dedicated to the media. It's called CES Unveiled. It happens, so not the day before, but the night before that. So for example, when the CES is starting on the Wednesday, the Tuesday is dedicated to some like top-notch conferences, and the Monday evening is dedicated to the CES Unveiled. So you have a very small booth. You have, I think it's like 3 to 4 hours, and you only have media. So that's a perfect opportunity to only talk to media and to make sure that they are going to see you, catch you, and maybe come back to you. To give you an example, all of the TVs and radios, they go to that kind of event. That way they spot the products that are interesting, they spot what they want to see, and then they book some meeting times with you to come back to your booth at CES and make sure that they can film, you know, or take pictures of your product, of your team, and organize everything. So Unveiled is really organized by CES, and then there are 2 other events that are organized by private companies. One of them is the Showstoppers. So it happens on the first night of CES, and there is another one, and I'm sorry, I lost the name. It's on the other day. To be very honest, having tried the 3 of them, definitely Unveiled is the number one. That's where you have the most journalists. Again, it's before the launch of CES. So it's kind of a preview for journalists of what they are going to see. So they're really excited about it. And Showstoppers would be the second one, because it's really qualitative also in terms of selected startups and companies that are exhibiting, and the journalists there are really great also. And check also the media awards. Like, Gizmo, and Gadgets, CNET, VentureBeat. They are pretty much every year at the end of CES, doing kind of a paper of their special awards in every category. So you have like the best audio product, you have the best artificial intelligence product, the best autonomous vehicle. So check that, because it's very important also for your visibility. So you prepare all that, of course, but it's very important also to contact the media beforehand. Always put yourself in the shoes of a journalist. First, they have a lot to do to get accredited to CES. So by the way, you get a list of media and journalists accredited like around the 1st of December. So every exhibitor gets access to that list of media that are going to attend CES. So that's already a huge plus. But imagine how CES is super intense for them. Like, remember the numbers. I'm going to say an average between 3,000 and 4,000 exhibitors to see in 3 days. Because they're running all day to catch the conferences, to catch companies' booth, to organize interviews. And then when the CES closes, like around 6 or 7, they have to go back to the hotel to write their articles. And sometimes they spend the night doing this. So just understand that when it starts, they just don't have time to organize other meetings, to talk to you, just to talk. They're just running everywhere, and they prepare a lot in advance. So please send them everything you can beforehand. Even under embargo, they're totally okay with that, but at least they can identify you before the event starts and before so they can organize everything. It's very important. And I think I'm going a little bit in advance. I'll get back to that. But I was saying, one of the preparation part is really to know the media that are present. So again, the list is huge to go through. 2 years ago, to go through a list of 6,000 media and journalists is huge. So organized by country, and then select the geographic markets that are interesting for you. And then you can also select the media that cover pretty much your area. Same, it's a little bit of work, but it's important to do it, because, to be honest, a journalist covering only, only phones is not going to be interested in your robot or interested into your new AI application for a better food, for example. So make sure that at least you do a little bit of that job to really target the right media. Of course, this is not an exhaustive list, but it was to give you an idea of the how, I don't know how to say that, but the globality of the media landscape that it is present at CES. You have, of course, all the tech media from the US, like TechCrunch, like Gizmodo and Gadgets. You also have the German ones, like Computer Build, but you also have national media, again, coming from Japan, coming from the Middle East, coming from Spain, coming from France. It's so they can cover a lot from the the economic challenges of CES to at a point, I'm going to say that because I'm French, but that was kind of true. I remember in 2017, 2018, even a little bit before, the French tech was just huge, because France was bringing a lot of startups, a lot of innovations, and media all over the world. They were just covering the fact that the French tech was there, because we're the number one or number two in terms of startup numbers. So it's just saying that they can cover pretty much every angle. So again, prepare everything, what angle you want to be identified, what you want to say, if you want to really stay focused on your product, if you want to be a little bit patriotic and take a stand with your country. It's really up to you and how you want to present yourself. Getting back to that, the French tech was trendy at that time. In the media, it's a little bit less trendy now, because it's been several years. So at a point, journalists, they just don't want to cover only the French tech, but it might. My opinion is that this year the Ukrainian tech is going to be huge. It's already been covered. I've seen a few articles about that. Media are going to be interested in seeing what Ukrainian startups are going to show, what they're working on and their innovations. So that's one trend I think that we're going to see this year. Some basic tips on how to be interesting for a journalist at CES. First, it's always better if your product, your offer is more B2C or B2B2C. It's just about CES. Traditionally, it's, well, the consumer electronic show. So journalists tend to cover what has a link with consumers, or again, even B2B2C. So we have some journalists that are here to cover B2B, but to be honest, having been at the CES with B2B and B2C companies, there's a huge difference when it comes to media coverage if you're a B2C company or a B2B one. Again, it doesn't mean that CES is not for you, but one of your goals if you're a B2B company might be more of business and maybe less of media coverage. Very basic, but still important to say, because I've seen some companies without a prototype or without anything to show. If you want the coverage, it's always better to have something that journalists can see, can film, can take pictures of, and functional, please. Have also someone in your team. I was talking earlier about having a great, like 3-4 people minimum on the booth. Make sure that you have at least one person, and I would advise 2 people that are media trained and that are able to talk to media. It's not an easy task. It's not easy to talk in front of a camera. It's not easy to, respond right away to a journalist. So make sure that you have 1 to 2 identified spokesperson. 2 is ideal, just because if one is already talking to journalists, at least you have a second one to talk to the other one. And the same as for investors and clients, just to make sure that you're not missing any opportunity. I talked about the goal earlier. Make sure that it's clear and realistic. Again, it's just not to have to highest expectations, but if you're releasing at CES, I don't know, an app that will, thanks to artificial intelligence, that will help consumers to park better, or to park at some places that are, I don't know, going to be more eco-friendly, or I don't know what. Just be realistic that it's not the most visual product. So don't expect necessarily to be on NBC, to be on ABC, or all the TVs, because the TVs are naturally going to be more interested into gadgets, into robots, into things that, again, can be filmed easily, and that are going to make their audience dream about the future. So that's just the point. And I already talked about putting yourselves in a journalist's shoes. So once you've prepared everything, once you know what to say to media, so why you should contact them beforehand. I already talked about it a little bit before, but because, again, it's very important. They're getting ready way before. They start preparing their CES like around mid-November. And they spend their entire month of December preparing it. They identify the angles they want to cover. They identify the innovations, startups, company they want to go see. They transform their editorial calendar. So if you ease their work, if you get in touch with them enough in advance that you're able to send them a press release under embargo, if you're able to send them visuals, they are going to love you, to be honest, and to remember you, maybe for an award or maybe for another article during CES. They're going to talk about you to their fellow journalists. So you're really helping also your reputation by doing this. And you're going to get more attention. You also might have some visibility before, because some media like eWeek and some others, they do articles before CES saying, oh, here are the innovations we expect at CES. We'll tell you more. And they present a few that they already have received press releases or stuff like that. So it's also a great way to tease about a little bit about your CES. Imagine if you get if you get visible in eWeek or even in CNET before, imagine the number of potential clients, distributors, partners, investors that are going to read it and be like, oh yeah, okay, I put that on my list of people to see when I'll be at CES. So it has a purpose, I promise. It's kind of a summary of what I was saying, because that's the most important. You prepare, you contact journalists before, and just make sure that also you're bringing them what they're looking for, because otherwise you can do the two previous parts, but if you're completely out of what they're expecting, it's not going to work either. But as a summary, so what are they looking for? Unique story, we talked about it. Pay attention to your storytelling, something new, or even if it's not a new product, but a new feature or a new way to address an issue, always identify what's different in your product than your competitors. Of course, added value, very precise information. If you give numbers, make sure that you can trace them. If you're, I don't know, quote a study, make sure that you can name the study. That's very, very important. Figures, examples, concrete use cases, illustrations, facts. The more they have, to write the article, the better it is. The demo and visuals, of course, we talked about it. And if you bring a little bit of debate, that's a little plus. They like it, if it's not too easy peasy, and if you can bring some topics that bring controversy, they would like it. Regarding especially American media, because, well, even if the event is international, you have, of course, a lot of American media that attend. And that's why I was saying identify before who you want to talk to. Always bring a link to the American consumer. It's also written on the right, but America First is not only a slogan, and if I can say, it's pretty much the same for every country. A German journalist is going to cover things that are related to Germany. Same for France, same for Spain, same for the UK. So if you have a goal, or if you already have contacts, or I don't know, an American investor, if you already have an American distributor, mention it right away. It's important, so that way they're, oh, okay, I can link that. Okay, I can make a story. Because if you talk about your product, that's super interesting. And at the end, they're like, oh, but when are you going to be available on our market in North America? And if you answer, oh, I don't know, we don't have any investors, we don't have any distributors, they might be like, oh, okay, well, it was interesting, but I might not cover because, well, I have 10, 20, 30, 50 other companies. Their products are going to be on the market like in 3 months or today. So it's going to be more relevant for their audience. But again, I think that applies for, and Juan, I think you can agree, that applies for pretty much every country. We're all very related to our country. Make sure that you have all the keywords and messages ready. Of course, if you're not an English native company, in your own language, but also in English. And make sure that you have facts and examples that they know, that refer to their culture. I'm saying that because, as an example, I can't even use that one because I think it's very French, but I made a joke about a comic book that exists in Belgium and in France. And I was so sure that they knew about this reference, but I don't know, I think I was talking to 3 journalists and they looked at me and they were like, what are you talking about? Who is that Lukey Luke? Okay, sorry, I'm going to find another example. So it's just a little tip, but that helps also to smooth the conversation. Avoid, please, too much engineering or technical language unless you're talking to a very specialized media. But go more on the usage, on the popularization of your technology, of the usage. And one last slide. about business, because yeah, visibility is not the only goal when we go at CES. You also to do business. We mentioned some targets that companies can have. Same, preparation is key. So as I advised before for journalists, do the same for your targets, for your business targets. Am I looking for partners? Am I looking for distributors? Am I looking for investors? Am I looking for some technologies? Am I looking just for contacts with my local ecosystem? Because that is something great also is when you come from, of course, outside the US. Generally, it's a little friendly ecosystem. I'm taking the example of France because that's the one I know best. But everybody's hanging together. You have contacts that get created much faster. Like with the previous a previous company that I worked with at CES, they were just fascinated that they would go every year. They would meet amazing people, amazing contacts every January. And those people, it just took like an entire year otherwise when we were at home to get in touch with them. But at CES, it's just pretty intense and it goes fast. So enjoy and take part also of that local ecosystem that can definitely help you. And that goes with keeping an eye on all opportunities and everything that, it can happen everywhere. And again, it's I think business can be done outside the trade show. Maybe I should go back a little bit. When I talk about business, don't imagine that you're going to sign a contract at CES. That doesn't happen. But you can go pretty far into the discussions, into the negotiations. And again, you can meet so many people, but it doesn't all happen at your booth. Be aware of, there are a lot of meeting suites with a lot of amazing companies that are pretty much discreet on their way. They don't want to be that visible, but look into it. Look at the side events. Every night, I think at CES, there are like 10 to 15 side events organized by media, organized by private companies, organized by event organizers, organized by even hotels and nightclubs at CES. So be aware of everything, because there are so many opportunities that especially if it's your first time, you wouldn't want to miss. You wouldn't want, to miss. The last point I could add about the business is be organized, because you can end one day with like 100 or 200 visit cards. Make sure that you're organized every night. You look into it, write on it, because believe me, at the end of the day, you probably forgot 3 people you saw at the beginning of the day. You've seen so many people. So when you're talking to someone, either you have a notepad or again, you just take the card and you write down a few things, but just to remember, okay, that was that guy. If you think that it went really well, you have a real interest in that person, email them right after. When I say right after, not in the 5 minutes, but at the end of the day. That's the kind of thing, but really be organized. Otherwise, you're going to make a lot of contacts, but it's not going to go through. And in the end, it would be a great event, but you will lose some opportunities, and it won't be like a lasting opportunity. So I do apologize. My voice is kind of failing at the end of the day, and after talking for about 45 minutes. Well, thank you very much for following this webinar. I was really happy to be here with you. If you have any question, any PR advice you'd like, so please contact Oxygen. You can send us an email. Of course, I'd be happy to reply and to help you, build the best CES you may have. So have a great day, everyone, and don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you.